How's it going, everybody? This is the Nitty Gritty. My name is Chad. With me is Leonard. This is a show about wrestling, but this is going to be one of our short segments. And actually, Leonard, I thought of a title for this. We could call this segment surgery. You mull that one over as we're discussing. So basically, This is I can tell you're in love with it, but basically what it is we're going to take a segment, not necessarily a match. We do have random match reviews. Mm-hmm. We're going to take a segment, whether it be a promo or a skit or what have you, and kind of break it down and discuss it. And that's what we're going to do today, hence the title, Segment Surgery. And the segment we're going to start with is the segment from this past Friday's WWE Smackdown, October 28th, featuring the Bloodline. So basically, Sami Zayn and I think Jey Uso,
Jey Uso. After all these years, nobody knows the difference between Jimmy and Jey. I think that includes Naomi.
Well, anyway, we won't go there. Sami and Jey have been having issues. The match that had taken place just before this segment didn't go the way they wanted it to. So hence they have some issues. They're arguing in the ring, and soon enough, you hear Roman Reigns and his music hit at a really opportune time. The crowd was very much into it. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to go over this particular segment. So this segment had a good bit of stuff in it. It had comedy and it had, some serious stuff in it. So basically, you have Jey and Sami continuing to argue. Roman Reigns is telling them to hash it out themselves. Jey says at one point, Jey says he doesn't care what the tribal chief says. And Leonard, one of the things I wanted to go over with you is the reaction of the crowd when that line happens. Like, say what you will about Roman Reigns and his title reign, but that crowd in particular is buying into it.
Well, I'm not saying that about it. I think the title reign has been fantastic, and I think everything that he's done as the tribal chief with the bloodline stuff has been good. And I think that crowd response shows that. And I think he sold it very well. The look on his face, I think everyone around him sold it well with the look on their faces after, Jey said that. So yeah, I mean, that right there proves that this is getting over to the crowd.
Right, and that's exactly what I wanted to say. Now, what I meant was about his title reign is it can be looked at as somewhat divisive in that, they don't have a lot of opponents for him right now, and he doesn't work as many dates as he used to, and, it's been very long, and, obviously that started when Vince was in charge, and now Triple H is in charge. So how were they making it go on long for a good reason or no reason? The fact of the matter is it is over, and Reigns is doing a great job with this particular faction. But one of the other reasons why I wanted to go over this particular segment is because Triple H needs to pay attention to what's happening with Sami Zayn. Now, some people might not think he's a viable contender for the title. Whether or not you believe that, the most over guy in the company right now is Sami Zayn, to the point where the rumor that I've heard is that the plans there was plans involving Sami and Kevin Owens have been put on hold because this stuff with Sami and the Bloodline has become so popular that they have to kind of run with it. It was supposed to be just a short comedic few months, and they were going to move on. I mean, they always say the cream rises to the top, right? Well, Sami.
Randy Savage used to say that, yes.
Right. Sami at last year's WrestleMania took a match that many people would have probably thought beforehand would have been crap and made it gold. And here he is in the Bloodline with all these other guys, and he is really making it a part of the WWE programming that you want to watch. In my opinion, I know they're going for the Jey Sami feud, but in my opinion, they need to go with the Sami Roman Reigns feud. I don't see any other contender nearly as strong with the fans as Sami is right now. So I don't know if that's what is changing behind the scenes or not, but to me, this segment was a perfect example of, hey, the fans are telling you, they're showing you what they like. They need to run with it somehow. I'm not saying to give the title to Sami necessarily, but run with this momentum. Leonard, do you agree or disagree?
Well, I think Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns could definitely put on a really good match with each other. I think they are both at the point in their careers where they can pretty much work with anybody. I think they've shown that over the past few years. So I agree with you that, I would maybe use the Jay-Sami match to maybe set up Sami versus Roman, perhaps at the Royal Rumble. But I'm been talking about the promo overall. I'm actually in the minority that I didn't care for it.
Which part of the promo are we talking about?
The Sami Zayn is an idiot. Jay delivered a great, fiery, intense promo. And I know he's supposed to be the heel here, but he was totally, I think, in the right in what he was saying. And Mick Foley, in his book, which I believe he attributed to Terry Funk, said that, a heel has to believe he's in the right. And Jay
believes it. Absolutely.
Jay believes he's in the right. Jay gave great reasons for why he's in the right. He's very protective of his family. That was great. That made me want to see Jay versus Sami. And that's
what makes this interesting to me, because this has been going on for so long now. Mm-hmm. And you have Sami wearing the honorary Uce shirt and all that stuff, that at the point where I would assume he inevitably, sticks the knife in the back, it's going to get a huge reaction. And I like the comedic element that he adds to it, like, the whole he's not acting very Uce. Like, to me, it's gold. It has a mixture of everything in pro wrestling. And
the problem with me was you have this great, serious, intense promo, and then Sami completely undercuts it.
Well, I would say add to it, but to me,
I would say undercut it. I know that he is supposed to be humorous in his role with them, but it felt very mismatched and awkward to me when you go from A to B with them, and the fact that he got Jay to break up, and you can blame Jay for that.
They all were.
They were all breaking up. Now Roman, I think, played it off very well. I think he played it off with how he came back and how he incorporated the Uce line. I think he did fine. But for Jay Uso to say, this son of a bitch needs to die, and then he laughs at him, and he makes him laugh. Not that he's laughing at Sami, but Sami makes him laugh. I think that really undercut the emotion of the promo for me.
I look at it as almost like, you're thinking about an SNL skit. Like, if they were doing it all the time, I would agree with you, but in a case like this, I enjoyed the fact that he kind of made them break a little bit. And, Sami did start out in a serious way by saying, look, I don't know what your problem is with me.
Yes, that part was good. I liked that part.
I think, I wonder, I think I've read that he occasionally does try to make them break. I don't know if he expected that to get as over instantly as it did, with not only the crowd and the people in the ring, but
yeah, I mean, I made a note. Does Sami Zayn think he's Jimmy Fallon? Because it felt very on purpose to me. So I know I'm in the minority. I read that people online love this promo. I've seen the memes. Uce's the new watchword. But I would have very much preferred, I think, a serious all the way through promo here, or even if, and I know this is being more on Jay than Sami, if Jay would have stayed serious and shouted back to him, you're not taking this seriously, you're a goof, you're making fun of me and my family, call me Uce, and would have decked him. I think that would have been fantastic.
Well, yeah, I mean, that would have been an interesting twist to the segment, certainly. Although you were talking about comparing Sami to Jimmy Fallon. See, Jimmy would always break a lot in skits, and in this particular, Sami was very, never. I
guess you're right. It would be the reverse. So I guess he would be the Horatio Sands, and Jay would be the Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, I suppose so. And you know what? What you really would have been annoyed by, I think there was a backstage interview with Sammy and Jay and Jimmy, and I think Paul Heyman was in it as well, where they were talking, like they're asking, like the interviewer's asking how they're all doing after that segment, and Sammy talked about going to the Waffle House, and apparently Jay instantly like popped up and started smiling because he was excited to go to the Waffle House. Like, so anyway, my whole point in this, you know, despite Leonard and I differing, was to highlight the fact that Sammy is becoming a bigger star than I think that they intended him to be, and I think they need to run with that.
Yeah, and I certainly agree with that, and I think that is fine to capitalize on what he's giving you. Just looking at this promo in a vacuum, I didn't like how everyone broke, and I guess that's on them for breaking. But I do think, as you've mentioned, I've read this, Sammy tries to do that to them on purpose. So I think the tone here is just, for me, the tone's off.
All right. Well, let us know what you thought of this segment. Check out our full-length episodes, our other videos in our channel. For Leonard, my name is Chad, and we will see you next time.